rates.
Mm-hmm. So it looks like probably the not-for-profits with a tax-exempt bond market will still be a lively area because that financing, I guess, is still there.
Well, I think that is there for. I think it's going to be there for nonprofits who are maybe system-wide, have some deep pockets of their own,
Right.
and to trade upon. I think it is there for them, but much harder for the one-off non-for-profit.
Right. And then when you're looking at an acquisition of a CCRC, distressed or not distressed, what's the most important financial ratio for you to look at in terms of stability?
Well, here that's a very good question, and the answer is banks used to look at the debt service coverage ratio and see where their comfort level was, and they never distinguished between monthly dollars that were produced from monthly service fees that in-place residents paid versus turnover attrition income from units turning over. There was never a very big distinction between the two of those. I've always looked at, to me, when I want to size an acquisition, I want to get as close to 1-to-1 on the monthly service fees that residents are paying be the predominant piece of my cash flow versus the turnover income. And obviously, in good times, it's a non-issue because money's rolling in and people aren't putting a label on it. But when real estate stops, home sales stop, people stop moving in, and if you're relying too much on that turnover income, then you're going to be in a world of hurt because you could have all your in-place residents, even at a 90% occupancy, but not be generating enough money to pay the debt service. And I think that is really the most critical component in my mind, is trying to size a purchase or look at a community and say, how much of this money comes from in-place residents? Because you know what? Residents, in 20 years of doing this, no resident has ever not paid me the monthly service fee they've owed, unless it was a hardship case we were giving them, which you can count on one hand. So some communities, and most nonprofit communities, maybe run at a 0.7% being able to pay the debt service from monthly service fees. The rest of it has to come from that turnover. I don't like that at all. I like the idea that monthly service fees should be sized to pay the debt service, and then the turnover is really the income to the developer or the owner. And that's how I pretty much can judge who looks like they're more solvent than not when you're looking at numbers in the business.
Yeah, and banks are looking at that 1-to-1 more now also. And then from an investment perspective or investor perspective with a distressed property, what do you favor? Do you like to buy the bonds, or is it better for you to wait for the property to come on the market and actually buy the property?
Well, the worst you could have is a bankruptcy. And so buying CCRCs out of bankruptcy is a totally different business because values have plummeted so far. Residents and prospects have gotten a negative vibe on the community. And I kind of liken the whole thing to a plane heading down. You have the secured creditors in first class, you got the mezz people in business class, and then you have all the equity in the back and coach. But when the plane's going down, it really just doesn't matter where you're sitting on that plane. So when a project is sliding into oblivion, into bankruptcy, everything goes out the window and it's pretty much a fair game. You start at a much lower value. What I like to see, and what I've been successful in buying, is buying either a controlling interest or a blocking interest on the bond side, and then taking control, and sometimes taking total control, or helping the nonprofit or the owner and their lenders restructure the deal, because maybe I've gotten a very good deal on the bonds. So we could restructure the bonds, and then without ever actually taking ownership, bring that value back up to par or better, and still achieve the same goal. Mm-hmm. And right now, I think that there's billions of dollars of nonprofit senior debt where the control of those bonds is really going to be up for grabs between different people looking to be in different places in the capital stack, some wanting to get ownership, some wanting not to. And I think that's going to be where there'll be a lot of business in the next year.
Well, let's get into that. You've bought, you've sold, you buy bonds. What's in the cards for you in 2010?
Well, in the last couple of years, believe it or not, I've been busy building a St. Regis hotel with my partners at Formation Capital that just opened 3 weeks ago. Ski in,
No
ski out.
advertising here.
No, ski in, ski out. I wish I had the 800 number I could give to anyone, but and we've pretty much paused our development sites because if you can't attract construction, money, there's no sense in continuing to throw in pre-development money into them. So what we are looking at now is we're probably tracking 20 different CCRC projects, all high-end projects across the country that are in some sort of financial difficulty. Maybe they have too much debt, maybe their occupancy has gone way down and they don't have enough money to recover it. And our goal is to pick up a couple of those buildings in 2010. Unfortunately though, as you know, when a CCRC is in trouble, it's easy to hang on for a while, and it takes a long time for them to unwind. Once they unwind, though, then you got a lot of trouble, and then people are really in a world of hurt. And we are waiting patiently for those deals to mature.
Okay, well, very good. Well, good luck this year, and hope you get some deals going.
Well, thank you, Steve. I very much appreciate this opportunity.
Okay.